This display commemorates the 100th anniversary of the Easter Rising in Dublin in 1916, which was a really pivotal moment in the long history of Ireland's struggle for independence from Great Britain. It took place in central Dublin and it lasted only 6 days. There were around 2,500 rebel fighters involved and ended in defeat for the Republicans. 15 of the Republicans' leaders were arrested immediately upon surrender, and they were executed over the coming weeks after very brief closed trials, and it was really those executions that caused the major controversy. It had a really strong impact on Australian society and politics, particularly through the activism of Archbishop Daniel Mannix, the Catholic Archbishop of Melbourne, who was an Irishman by birth. Ireland has a long history of its people emigrating to other parts of the world, and in fact when this library opened its doors in 1856, around 1/3 of Australia's population was Irish born. So we thought it was appropriate to commemorate this historic event and to explore its resonance here in Australia. The proclamation of the Irish Republic is really the cornerstone of Irish republicanism today. In 1917, so on the first anniversary of the Rising, the female militia group who were involved in the Rising, commemorative, organised a facsimile to be made of the proclamation in order to kind of reignite the spirit of the Rising. And what we have in our collection is a 1917 facsimile, which is in fact, strangely, rarer than the 1916 original. They were posted, but almost immediately torn down by the British forces, by the police. One way in which we uncovered a really interesting family story was actually more or less by accident here, that I was discussing this display with a colleague, and he went home and asked a few questions of his father and discovered that his great uncle, whose name was Edmund McGrath, had been involved in the Irish Civil War as a member of the Irish Volunteers, the Republican militia. The McGrath family very generously lent several items to this display, which are the handcuffs that Edmund McGrath wore as a prisoner, also the belt, his Irish Volunteers belt, which was part of his uniform. This has been a really collaborative process with lots of people around the library working together. Today is the culmination of all this work over the last months, and we're just so excited to see the display come to fruition.